Good morning everybody, it's Lisa here from Rocco Baby Crochet. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these gorgeous textured crossbody handbags. So it's got a corded handle, and we've used the diamond waffle stitch to give it this lovely texture. I've put a little Rocco Baby Crochet tag up here, but obviously you don't need to do that if you don't want to. So we're going to get into what you need to make this in a second, but just quickly wanted to say thank you and hello to all my new subscribers. And if you want to see more content, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. And also just a reminder, anybody who hasn't already joined our Facebook group, on my banner to the page there is a link to that group there, and it's a really lovely little community where we're all sharing ideas and tips and tricks. So head on over there as well. But let's get into everything that we need to make this lovely crossbody handbag. So this is everything that you're going to need to make your handbag. So to make mine, I needed 3 balls of chunky wool, 100-gram balls. I use this one that I picked up from Home and Bargains. So it's Heritage Serenity Luxury yarn, and it's a green colour, but it's got these multicoloured flecks running through it, and it's really pretty. If you haven't got Home and Bargains, it's just any chunky weighted yarn. So you need 300 grams of that. You're going to need a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and a couple of stitch markers just if you're new to crochet. This is probably an intermediate design, I would say. So if you are really new, I'd perhaps practice doing the basic stitches a little bit before you come on to this one. But I mean, give it a whirl by all means, but just don't get too frustrated with it, because it is a little bit more of a challenging pattern for people who are new to crochet. So let's move these out of the way and let's get started, and I'll show you how I made my handbag. So to begin with, what we want to do is to create this diamond. The stitch is called a diamond waffle stitch, and the way that we do that is always in multiples of 4. And then at the end of your chain of 4, once you've got it to the right size that you want to add an additional 3 chains. Just in case you want to use this for anything other than the handbags, if you wanted to do a blanket or a pillow cushion or anything like that, that is the pattern repeat. It's multiples of 4 plus 3 right at the end. So to begin with, what you want to do is make yourself a slip knot. So for my handbag, if you're wanting to do exactly the same as me, I did my multiples of 4 to 28 stitches, and then I added 3 onto that. So in total I needed 31 chains. So let's do those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 and 31. So there's all my multiples done. So for row 1, what we want to do is we're going to do a row of double crochet. So in the US, that's single crochet, and we want to start in the second chain from the hook, remembering that this on the hook counts as nothing. This is our first chain here, and this is our second chain here, so we're working into that. Now I always work into the back bumps of my chain because I think it gives a nicer finish on my work. So I'll turn it over. There's my first back bump, there's my second, and they just run down the middle of your chain as you go along. But if you want to work them into here, that's fine. But if, like me, you prefer to work them into the back bump, then go ahead and you'll make 31 double crochets going all the way down. So you just insert in your hook yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. Move on to your next chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and take off both the stitches. And you do that all the way down until you've got a total of 30 UK doubles or US singles. So I'll meet you once I've completed row 1 and I'll show you what we do for row 2. So if you want to hit pause for a second. Okay, so I've completed my row of double crochets, and for row 2 what we want to do is we want to do a row of treble crochets. That's UK, so US terms, a row of double crochets. So there's a couple of ways that you can build up the height to go across. So the first way, which is the easiest way, is you can chain 3, turn your work, and you would count that as a double crochet and then move into your second stitch and do another double or treble depending on whether you're UK or in America, and count that as your first treble. But I don't like to do that because can you see this gap here that forms? So let me show you how I get the height I need. It gives you a lovely straight edge, especially when you're doing things like handbags and blankets. So once I've finished my last stitch, I turn my work, and into this stitch that my working yarn is coming out of, I've not made any chains or anything like that, I go directly into there and place a double crochet. So that's UK terminology, double crochet. American terminology, you place in a single crochet. And what you'll see here is you've got 2 strands of yarn that have formed that double crochet. I then take my hook and slip it underneath the strands of yarn which is to the left, yarn over and pull up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through. So I'm basically stacking 2 single crochets on top of each other, and you can see that that gives me a lovely straight edge, but also I've got no gaps in it, so when I sew it together it just looks a lot nicer. So that counts as my first one. So I'll be using that method throughout. Now if you're not comfortable doing that, you can do a chain 3 and turn. So the rest of this row, it's just replacing 1 treble crochet, UK terminology, double crochet in the US, into every stitch along for a total of 30 stitches. So you're yarning over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off your last 2, and just repeat that all the way down until you've got your 30 treble crochets. And I'll meet you back once I've got mine. So if you want to hit pause, and when you've completed row 2, come back to me. I've just completed my row of treble crochets, and we're going to start now row 3, and this is probably the hardest row of the whole pattern. So if you can get past this, then we're okay. So you want to start by chaining 1 and turning your work. Now for row 3, what we're going to be working around is the posts of the double crochets we made down here. So there's our first one, can you see? Our second one, then as we go along they're easier to pull apart. So let me just make this a little bit easier for you to see. So what is to the right is the first post there. Oh, Tills has got my work. Tills. So that's then to the right of that is the post of the second, and then if you move across one more stitch, that is the post of the third. So you can see the little gaps here. That's where we're going into. So there's 1, 2 and the post of the third. And in this first one we're going to be making a double treble. So that's, again, I'm using UK terminology. In America I think they call it just a treble. So counting over 1, 2, there's my third post. So I've yarned over twice. I go around that post from the front of my work, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you can see there that I have got the 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through the next 2, and I've got 2 left, so I'm going to yarn over and pull through them 2. And that's the first leg of one of our diamonds. Now for this very first stitch, we count where the chain 1 comes out of as the stitch. So we move on to the next stitch here and we place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So we're going to be making, with our next stitch, we're going to be making the post that comes here and the post that comes here. Now, it's harder to say than it is to do. It's known as a front post treble crochet, double treble crochet 2 together. It's harder to say than it is to do. So what you want to do is you want to yarn over twice, and then you're going to go back around the post that you went round to make your first leg of your diamond, and you're going to do exactly the same. So you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then when you've got 2 loops left on your hook, we don't finish off that stitch. We yarn over twice again and we count up 4 more posts. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's our 4th. So we insert our hook going around that post, yarn over and pull up a loop, and we yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you'll have 3 loops left on your hook. You yarn over and take off all 3 loops. And then what you want to do is skip this stitch here and work 3 more double crochets going along. So 1, 2 and 3. So we now need to make these 2. So you're going to yarn over twice, go around the same post that you've just worked around, pull up a loop around that post, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 left on my hook. So I'm going to yarn over twice again, move up another 4 post stitches. So let's show you these. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the one that I'm going around. Insert my hook around that post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over and take off all 3. Just get myself some more yarn. So you'll see that you've got this stitch here that we're going to skip again, and then you're going to work 3 more double crochets going along. So we're now going to make the next 2 legs. So it's exactly the same. Yarn over twice, go around that same post that you've just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, 2 loops left on my hook, so yarn over twice again, and count up 4 more posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop my hook around that post, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and take off all 3. Skip the one at the back and 3 double crochets going along. 1, 2 and 3. So you can see now that your diamonds are, the bottom halves of your diamonds are forming. Once you've got this first row done, it's really easy after this. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult if you're new to it to identify those posts from the double crochet row, but once you've got that, you'll fly with this. It's easy once we've got past this round. So we need to work our next 2 legs of diamonds. So we're going to yarn over twice, go back into where we put our last leg, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left on my hook. So I'm going to yarn over twice and then find where my 4th post stitch is. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4. Insert my hook from the front around that post, yarn over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull off 2, yarn over, take off 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Skip the stitch at the back and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. I'm yarning over twice, exactly the same, going around where I've just worked my last leg. Take off 2, take off 2, 2 left on my hook, yarn over twice, find my next 4th post. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's my 4th. Insert my hook around that post, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. Skip that stitch there on the back and then you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So I'm yarning over twice, back around that post that I've just worked my stitch into. Oops. Pulling up a loop, take off 2, take off 2, 2 left on my hook, yarn over twice, move up 4 posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert my hook around that 4th post, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then finish it off taking off the last 3. Skip the stitch on the back and you're going to work 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, 2, 3, and you should have 2 stitches left here at the top, and we just want to do 1 leg going this way. So we just yarn over twice, insert our hook again round the same post that we just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Skip 1 stitch at the back, which leaves you your very last stitch to work into, and you want to place 1 double crochet into that, and that's your first row of the diamonds. So I'm just going to show you how to do the second and the third row, and then it's just repetitive after that. This is the hardest row to do because it can be hard to find those single crochets, which is why possibly not the greatest projects for somebody who's new to crochet, but I'm sure if you experienced crochet you've whipped through that with no problems. So to go across my next row, to get back to my other side, I need to do a row of double plain treble crochets. So I'm going to turn my work. Remember, if you don't want to make your first treble the way that I do, then chain 3 and turn. But I do the fake stitch like I showed you on the first round, so that counts as my first one. If you're using the chain 3, again that counts as a stitch, and you're just going to place 1 treble crochet, UK terminology, US, these are doubles, all the way across. Your count will be exactly the same, so when you come to the end of this row you should have 30 trebles going across here. So hit pause until you get to that point and I'll meet you back at the end of this row. Okay, so I've just done my 30 treble crochets going across. Every time you're working along the back of your work it's going to be the same. We're just going to be working these plain rows of treble crochets. So to get on to the next row, you want to chain 1, turn your work, and now what we want to do is we want to create legs going like this across to make the diamonds. So the way that we do that is, so we want our first leg to come here and one here. So we need to get across to that point. So into your first, where your chain has come out of, you're going to place 1 double crochet and then 1 into your second stitch, and then we're going to do our, let me get this right, 2 double treble front post crochet 2 together. Right, so you want to yarn over twice, insert your hook, and you're going underneath the leg of the diamonds that you've already made. So this is why it gets so much easier from now. So you're going underneath that leg and you're going to pull up, take off 2, take off 2, leaving you 2 on your hook. And then to make your opposite leg, you're going to yarn over twice again, and you're going to go under both of these legs. So just slide your hook underneath both, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, and then yarn over and take off your last 3, and that's your first diamond formed. Really easy once you get past row 1. So you want to skip 1 stitch on the back, and then you're just going to do 3 double crochets going across. 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to make our next top of a diamond. So yarn over twice, and what you want to do this time is you're going through underneath both of these 2, so where you've put your last stitch again, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, and when you've got the 2 left on your hook, yarn over twice, and you just move across to your next 2 posts. Slide it underneath both of those posts, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off your last 3 loops, skip the one on the back and crochet 3 double crochets going across. 1, 2 and 3. So you can see there we've got our first 2 diamonds. Just getting a bit more yarn, so let's do that again. So you're going to yarn over twice, insert your hook underneath both the posts that you've just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, leaving you 2 loops on your hook, yarn over twice, and then move on to your next 2 posts, pop your hook underneath both of those, yarn over and pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Skip your 1 stitch at the back and 3 double crochets going across the top. So let's do that again. Yarn over twice, insert your hook underneath both the posts that you've just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once you've got your 2 loops left on your hook, yarn over twice again and move across to your next 2 posts, pop your hook underneath them, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then yarn over and take off your last 3. Skip the 1 on the back and 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. Yarn over twice underneath those posts that you've just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, leaving you 2 on your hook. Yarn over twice, move over to your next 2 posts, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 3. Skip a stitch on the back, 1 double crochet into your next 3 stitches. And we're nearly at the end, so these rows will be repeated until you've got the height that you wanted. For me, it's use 1 ball of wool per side of my bag. So you're going to yarn over twice, back around those 2 posts that you've just worked around, yarn over, pulling up your loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, leaving you 2 on your hook, yarn over twice, move over to your next 2 posts, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull off all 3. Skip a stitch on your back, and into your next 3 stitches 1 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over twice, working underneath the same post again, pulling up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over twice. Obviously you've only got 1 post left here, but you do it exactly the same way. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then take off your last 3 stitches. Skip 1, and then you'll have 3 stitches left to work in up at the top, like that. And that's your first row of diamonds. So your next row going across, we are just going to work a row of trebles. So I'm going to turn my work, stack my 2 doubles on top of one another to make my fake treble. So if you want to chain 3, go ahead and chain 3, and then you should have 30, including that first one, going across the top of your work. So I'll meet you back once you've completed that. Just finished my next row and I've got my 30 trebles. So what I want to do is chain 1 and turn. And now what we want to do is start making our next row of diamonds. So what we need is we want 1 leg coming here and 1 leg coming here. So what we need to do is we don't chain across any, so you repeat these alternate rows all the way through the project. You're just going to wrap around your hook twice, go underneath both of those posts underneath that make the top of your diamond, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, and pull through two for this row. Skip where your chain is coming out of, and into the next three you're going to place one double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and now we're going to go back to doing the two together once we've got that first post in place. So for the rest of this row they're going to be two together, so you're going to yarn over twice, go back around the two posts that you've just worked around, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, leaving you 2 loops on your hook, yarn over twice again, move across to your next two posts, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over and pull through 3. Skip one on the back and then place one double crochet into the next 3 stitches along, 1, 2, 3, and just repeat that all the way across. So hoping you've got the idea of it now. Move across to my next two. Skip that one behind and one into the next 3 stitches. So then I'm going to work my next 2 double trebles together around that same post, my first half of it, yarn over twice, move forward to my next post, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, pull through two, pull through 3. So you're just going to continue that across for this row. Do 3 then, yeah. So yarn over twice around those 2 posts, pull up a loop, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2. Yarn over twice, working around these next 2 posts, doing exactly the same. Skip a stitch on the back and 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Yarn over twice, go around the post that you've just worked around, yarn over, take off 2, take off 2, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over twice, move underneath your next 2 posts, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, skip a stitch on the back and 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Yarn over twice around those posts that you've just worked around, yarn over twice to make your second part of the stitch and pull through 3. Skip a stitch on the back and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and you should have 2 stitches left. And what we need to do on this row is pop a leg here, so we're just going to do 1 double treble together. So yarn over twice, go back around those 2 posts, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through your last 2. Skip a stitch and place 1 double crochet into your very last stitch, and they're your alternate rows that you need to do. So all you need to do now is a row of trebles going along your back, and then you're going to repeat this previous round that I showed you, and you're going to continue that until you have got, let's have a look what we've got here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 full diamonds, which is a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 rows in total, including what you've already done. So meet me back there when you get to that point. You're just going to repeat the alternate ones. So on the next one, you're going to start off going this way, and then you're always going to have one leg to do individually, either at the beginning or the end, depending on what round you're at. But just keep rewinding it and watching it back. You're just repeating that same pattern over and over until you've got 18 rows. Okay, so I've got my 18 rows, and what I want to do now is I'm just going to finish off the top of each of the 2 panels to my handbag with a row of plain treble, and then the last row is going to be a row of double crochet. So I'm just going to do it exactly the same as I've been working along the back for the rest of the project. And your chain count should, your stitch count should still be exactly the same. You should still be having 30 stitches going across the top of this bag. So do your 30 treble crochets along the back, and then I'll meet you back once I've got my 30. Okay, so I've got my 30 treble crochets going along the top. And all I'm going to do is chain 1, turn my work over, and I am just going to work 1 double crochet. So in the US, these are single crochets, 1 in each stitch going across, just to finish the top of each of the panels of the bags off. Again, my stitch count will be the same, so I'll have 30 of these double crochets going all the way across. So if you want to hit pause, and I'll meet you when you've got your 30. Okay, so I've finished my 30 double crochets, and that is 1/2 of the bag completed. So to finish it off, I just chain 1, and then I don't have that much left from the ball of yarn. That's all I've got left, so I just pull it all through and pull firmly on that chain that you've just made, just to secure it. And I'll use this yarn that's left over from the ball to sew the bag together. So you're going to want to make 2 identical panels as this. So hit pause, rewind the video if you need to, just to remind yourself how we make the diamonds, and when you've got 2 panels, come back to me and I will talk you through how I make the corded handle. Okay, see you shortly. So once you've made your 2 sides of your handbag, we can go ahead and make the corded handle. So I'm just going to show you a little sample of what I did. In total, because I wanted mine to be across the body bag, I chained 165 for the foundation chain, and then I did 4 rows of double crochet. So that's single crochet in America. So I chained 165, but I'm just going to show you on a little swatch here. How many have I got there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's enough for me just to show you. And then skip your first chain, and you're just going to make your 4 rows of double crochets. What's nice about this is you can make it as long or as short as you want. I did want a bag that I could just sort of throw on for when I go shopping. So that's why I've done a crossbody bag for myself. Just wanted something I could throw my keys, my phone and my cards in just quickly, and off I go. So like I said, if you want to do exactly the same as me, I chained 165, and that gave me a cord that was just over 60 inches in length. So that meant that I had enough to sew in to the handbag and still have the 60. Did I say 60 inches or 60 inches? If I said 60 centimetres, then I meant 60 inches. So when you come to the end of your row, chain one and turn, and then work your way back down. I'm only showing you this quickly because I think that if you're following along with this project, then I really don't need to be showing you how to be doing a double crochet. So do that all the way along your length of your chain, and then come back to me and I'll show you just how I stitch it together. Okay, so I've just done my 4 rows. So yours will be a lot longer than this, but I just wanted to show you a little sample. It was easier than having a big long cord on the video. So what you want to do is when you're cutting your end to sew this together, I always do 3 times the length of what I'm sewing together. So I just measure it against it, chain 1 and pull on that to knot it. So if this was my long one, I'd go up it once, twice and 3 times, and then I know that I'd have enough length of yarn to sew it together. So what you want to do is grab your darning needle and thread your yarn through there for your loose end. And what I do is I count up 6 stitches. So these 6 stitches, I want to leave them flat because they're what is going to be sewn into the handbag. Now I only go through the back loop, so this isn't going to be seen. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. So I'm just going to come out there at the end of my 6th stitch and pull that through. Give it a little pull so we're not changing the shape of that corner, and then I fold them together, making sure that I count 6 stitches up on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both my 7th stitches are together, and then I just start whip stitching them together. All the way along, and I just do that. I do 1 whip stitch in every stitch, making sure that I'm going through both strands of yarn which form the top of each stitch, 1 whip stitch per stitch, and I just make my way all the way along until I reach my last 6 at this end, and then I will just tie it off so I've got an equal amount at both ends that look like this to sew onto the bag at the end. So it's really simple, but it looks really it's the easiest and fastest way I found of doing a cord like handle. So I'll let you make your handle, and when you've got your handle to the length you want, remember I did a chain of 165, come back to me. So if you want to hit pause, and when you're finishing off your handle, come straight back to me. Okay, thank you. I have just finished sewing together the handle to my handbag. So it looks like this. I just need to sew in this loose end here. This tail here is still long enough to attach this end of the handle to the bag. This loose end from my starting chain, from my foundation chain, I just want to weave that in. And then we can sew the bag together. So I'm just going to go underneath them stitches, just how we normally weave in ends. So I've just gone up about 4 stitches, and then I'm going to come back, skipping that first stitch and going through the ones at the side of it. Then I'm just going to go back up and take it up into the handle. Just taking my time, so I'm just catching one part of the stitch and it's not coming through the front side of the bag, and then just pull it through. Give it a little stretch, and then I can trim that loose end there. And that's nice and secure. So this end that I've sewn it together, I'm going to leave that attached, because that's going to help me to start attaching the handle to the bag. Now, to sew the bag together, what you want to do is take your bag and you want to take both sides of your handbag and you want to put the good sides together, so the front sides together. So where we've done this row here of treble and double crochet, that's the top of our bag, so that's our opening. So make sure you line them up so the tops are both at the top. Now, if it's easier for you, you can pin it in place just so you know that your stitching is going to be easy and even. But I'm just going to go ahead and start stitching mine around. So I'm going to start in this corner here. I've got my leftover yarn here from this side, and I've got my leftover yarn here from my other side. So I'm just going to, in fact, I'll start here. So I'm just going to unwrap this. So this is my loose end from finishing one of the halves of the bag. So I know it's Mother's Day tomorrow. This has taken me roughly about 4 hours to make. So if you've still not got a gift, you could possibly make one of these. If you've got 4 hours today and 3 balls of chunky wool, you're good to go. So that's my needle threaded, and all I'm going to do is whip stitch it all the way around. So just going through this first stitch, I usually put sort of 2 or 3 stitches here in this first stitch just to make sure that it is nice and secure. Oh, what have I got there? A sticker off the wool. So I'll just do 2 or 3 here. Hope you didn't end up in a knot when you were sewing together your bag handle. It's a lot of yarn to be sewing with. I did end up in a little knot, but I'm blaming one of my cats, Tilly, because she was chasing after the wool as I was pulling it through. And all I'm going to do is just whip stitch evenly down this side of the bag. So popping my needle through both sides, pulling it through and pulling on that yarn just to whip stitch it together, keeping the stitches even and making sure that my bag is still meeting at this end as I go along. So you're just going to do that all the way down, and then I'll show you what I do at the corner. So if you want to hit pause until you get to that point, and I'll show you how I go around my corners. So if you hit pause now and come back to me when you're at this first corner here, and we'll do that together. I've just reached my very first corner, and here at the corner, this last stitch that I need to whip stitch around, I've got my loose end, and I'm just going to move that over to the left. So when I sew together this side, I'm going to sew that in then, but at the minute I'm just going to move it out of the way. And what I do is into this corner stitch. So this one just takes me to the last stitch. So now I'm at my corner stitch, and I'm just going to put 2 into here, coming from this side, going down this side of the bag, and then go over that again, just so that the corners are nice and secure. And then I'm going to turn and work along the bottom, but going back into the same corner, I'm going to do 2, but going from this side. So each corner's got 4 whip stitches holding it together, and I'm just going to now carry across the loose end from my foundation chain, which created my top square, and whip stitch around that as well as I go along. So if you continue to do that all the way around until you get back up to the top, and I'll meet you all there. Okay, so I have just finished sewing all around the bag, and I've tied in all my loose ends, I've weaved them in. So while it's still sort of inside out, I'm going to attach the handles. Now I like to make sure where I've sewn this cord together is going on the underside. So just make sure that you've got the handle the way round that you want it. That's it. So literally just where we've sewn the seams together for the bag, I rest that at the top of the bag where it's sewn together and going down the middle. I've already attached my needle. Ooh, my handle's going in my coffee. And I'm just going to, again, just whip stitch it on to attach it. So going all the way around both the bag and the handle. So this first stitch, again, I'll put a couple of stitches in here, and then for the rest of the stitches, because I don't want the handle coming through on the outside, I just pick up 1 loop so it remains on the inside. I don't go all the way through and back up. I just pull through a loop that's on the back of the work and attach it like that. So do that with both your handles, and then we're almost done. So come back to me when you've sewn on both your handles. So that's both my handles attached. Let's turn this the right way, and then we can see what our finished bag looks like. So this is the exciting bit. I'm just going to pop on a little Rocco Baby crochet label that I've got. You don't need to add anything on to yours, but And there we go, there's our finished handbag. I love it. It's a crossbody bag, perfect just to throw over you while you're going shopping. I'm really pleased with mine. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please hit like and subscribe if you have to see more content, and we will see you very soon. All the mums out there, have a lovely Mother's Day tomorrow. Take care, bye.